Iran warns attack on Khamenei would be declaration of war.
14th, National Congress of the Communist Party of Vietnam convenes preparatory session.
Young people conquer multilinguals.
Hello, so good to see you again in today's news. I'm Hoàng Yên, and here we go, the first headline of the show. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian warned on Sunday that an attack on the country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, would be a declaration of war.
In a social media post, Pezeshkian emphasized, "An attack on the great leader of our country is tantamount to a full-scale war with the Iranian nation," adding that U.S. policy is the cause of Iran's economic difficulties. Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei had previously accused the U.S. president of interfering in and inciting the recent wave of protests in the country. These strong statements from Tehran came just one day after Trump publicly criticized Iran's supreme leader. The U.S. president said, "It is time to seek a new leadership in Iran."
The Pentagon in the United States has ordered 1,500 active duty soldiers in Alaska to be ready to be deployed to Minnesota, where large protests have been taking place against the federal immigration rates.
Specifically, the U.S. military has placed forces in Alaska on high alert in case violence in Minnesota escalates, describing the move as a prudent contingency plan. Sources indicate that 2 infantry battalions from the Army's 11th Airborne Division, which is based in Alaska and specializes in operating in Arctic operations, have received this order. This move comes amid earlier warnings from Trump that he would use a law allowing the president to deploy active duty troops to enforce domestic law in order to quell protests against the administration's stricter immigration policies.
The 14th National Congress of Communist Party of Vietnam held its preparatory session at the National Convention Center in Hanoi on January 19th morning.
The Congress unanimously approved the preparatory sessions program, the working regulations of the Congress Work Program, and the election regulations for the 14th National Party Congress. The Congress elected a presidium consisting of 16 members of the Political Bureau. The Congress also elected a secretariat of 5 members and a delegate eligibility verification board comprising 13 members. The Congress unanimously approved the report on eligibility verification of delegates to the 14th National Party Congress, presented by the board. Accordingly, all 1,586 delegates summoned to the Congress are qualified delegates. In the afternoon, the delegates studied the documents at their accommodation.
Upcoming are some updated news.
President Trump on Friday last week sent a letter to Party General Secretary Tu Lam, inviting him and Vietnam to participate in the Gaza Strip Peace Council as a founding member alongside the international community, in promoting a sustainable and peaceful resolution to the Israel-Palestine conflict in the Gaza Strip. In his reply, Lam welcomed the initiative and confirmed Vietnam's agreement to take part in the council. He reiterated the country's long-standing policy of supporting and actively contributing to international efforts to resolve conflicts and disputes through peaceful means in line with international law and the United Nations UN Charter, while respecting the legitimate rights and interests of the parties concerned. On that basis, Lam formally accepted the invitation and affirmed Vietnam's readiness to join the Council as a founding member, working with the U.S. and the broader international community to contribute to a long-term and comprehensive peace process in the Middle East.
Nghệ An has recently approved a framework scheme for gene source conservation tasks, aiming to preserve and promote precious and rare native gene sources. The 2026-2030 scheme focuses on investigating and assessing the current status and adding 10 to 20 precious native gene sources to the conservation list. Under the scheme, Nghệ An will survey gene sources by ecological region, collect, store, and select priority gene sources, including agricultural and forestry plants, medicinal plants, livestock, aquatic species, and microorganisms. Conservation efforts will be carried out through various methods, such as in situ conservation, ex situ conservation, and the preservation of genetic materials, coupled with assessment, documentation, and effective utilization for production. Additionally, the province will develop geographical indications and certification marks for prominent gene sources to enhance product value.
Starting from January 2026, several commercial banks have announced they will close accounts that have had no transactions for at least 24 consecutive months. The objective of this large-scale review is to help customers secure their information and mitigate the risk of forgotten accounts being exploited by criminals for illegal purposes. Experts advise that users should proactively check the list of bank accounts registered under their names. If you still need the account, perform at least one transaction to reactivate it. If the account is no longer in use, customers should visit a transaction office to settle and close the account to avoid incurring any ongoing management fees.
In the context of deep international integration, foreign languages are no longer just a skill. They have become a key to opening numerous opportunities for learning, employment, and personal development. In Nghệ An, more and more young people are proactively learning and becoming proficient in multiple languages such as English, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and German. This reflects the progressive spirit and ambition of today's younger generation to reach out to the world. More in the story today.
Many young people today have actively built structured roadmaps for language learning, persistently pursuing multiple languages simultaneously. For them, a foreign language is not only for academic purposes, but also a vital competitive advantage in the labor market.
Initially, I studied Korean because I love Korean culture and wanted to watch Korean movies. The more I learn, the more interesting I find it. In the future, it could open many new opportunities if I work for Korean enterprises in Vietnam.
Besides English, we should add another language because the world is integrating. I find Chinese very important for my future career. Working in logistics, most partners are foreign, so knowing a language other than English is crucial.
In reality, the demand for multilingual labor in Nghệ An is rising rapidly, especially in industrial parks. At language centers, the number of students, particularly for Korean, Japanese, and Chinese, has surged in recent years.
I see that young people now have many choices. Alongside English, the number of students choosing Chinese has increased significantly over the past few years. Students from elementary to high school have increased noticeably by about 30% each year. This is a positive trend and an optimal choice for the province as more enterprises are investing in Nghệ An.
In response to the growing demand, many universities, colleges, and training institutions have proactively organized free language classes, creating conditions for students to access multiple languages.
Most students who come here already know one foreign language, but they want to learn another. They study with great enthusiasm, some to watch movies, others to have more career options in the future.
The trend of learning multiple languages shows that Nghệ An's younger generation is proactively equipping themselves with global skills to confidently integrate. However, according to educational experts, besides learning many languages, young people need clear orientation and should choose languages that align with their personal goals, avoiding following fads to ensure substantial and long-term effectiveness.
The last story descended our news today. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye for now.